好，大家好，我是当哥。今天再次为大家带来这一个AWS APM 的教学。好，我们继续第4个模块。
Welcome to Module 4, Pricing Solutions and TCO on AWS. In the previous module, we took an extensive look at AWS security best practices and tools for APN partners. In this module, we will discuss the AWS pricing philosophy and review the concept of total cost of ownership when moving to the cloud.
This module contains audio. Please.
In this module, we will discuss the following topics: AWS pricing philosophy, pricing models and the importance of evaluating workloads by pricing model, licensing basics, and finally, we will introduce AWS tools such as the Simple Monthly Calculator and the TCO Calculator. The AWS pricing philosophy is comprised of 3 basic tenets that give customers flexibility and choice in how they grow their business on AWS. The first tenet is pay only for what you use. With AWS, there are no upfront capital expenses, and services can be shut off when no longer needed, providing significant savings compared to maintaining underutilized hardware and software on premises. The second tenet is keep prices as low as possible. AWS operates at a massive scale, so we can offer our services at low cost. In fact, as AWS grows, we develop economies of scale and pass the cost savings on to our customers in terms of direct price reductions. 62 times so far, in fact. The third tenet is no upfront capital expense. With AWS, customers can pay for services on a monthly basis without any upfront investment. Customers can shift IT costs to operating expense instead of capital expense. This means capital can be allocated to other value-creating investments and activities, providing your customers more opportunity to innovate in core areas of their business. Now that you understand AWS pricing philosophy, let's look at pricing categories and benefits. AWS pricing categories provide the flexibility to match pricing options to your customers' needs. AWS Free Tier. To help customers get started in the cloud, AWS offers a free usage tier. Using the free tier, new customers can run 750 hours per month of a free Amazon EC2 micro instance for a full 12 months, with 5 GB free standard storage with Amazon S3, up to 750 hours per month of Amazon RDS, 1 GB of Amazon QuickSight, 1 million free AWS Lambda requests per month, and many other AWS services. Pay-as-you-go. Pay-as-you-go pricing has no long-term commitments or long-term contracts required. It can replace upfront capital expense with low variable cost because customers pay only for what is used, with no need to pay for excess capacity or penalty for underplanning. AWS bills customers for services used for compute, storage, and data transfer out. These costs vary slightly depending on the AWS product you use. For compute resources, customers are charged on an hourly basis. Data storage and transfers are charged on a per gigabyte basis based on the underlying infrastructure and services consumed. Cloud resources can be turned off when no longer needed.
这块主要是说AWS 它有这么一个 free tier， 一个免费的东西。像大家用最多的就是那个1年免费使用 EC2 他们的服务器然后再一个就是可以使用他们 S3 的那个数据库S3 的储存5GB 的一个储存，还有每个月750小时的一个 RDS 数据库，以及1GB 的Amazon QuickSight， 这个我没用过哈 还有100万次请求 Lambda 这次挺好用的，很多人都喜欢撸亚马逊的羊毛啊，包括我本人都有这么好几个账号同时在用，确实好用，亚马逊服务器真的是性能特别高。然后再一个说是 Pay as you go， 他说的这个 Pay as you go 呢，就是说就是我们很多传统的来说，这些提供服务的都是你必须要maintain 一个 certain standard，就是说你每个月大概要用到这么多，你用不到这么多还要扣钱，还要罚款亚马逊就完全没有这个，你用多少就花多少，所以说这是非常自由的一个东西。然后他甚至说比方说如果说是计算资源的话，用户可以以小时来计算他们的付费如果说是数据储存跟那个数据的一个传输的话，它就是按照每 GB 的价钱来算。然后同时呢，所有这些云的资源呢，都可以在你不需要的时候就关掉，关掉的时候是没有任何的一个花费的。
Pay less when you reserve. For certain AWS services, you can invest in reserve instances and get a significantly discounted hourly rate, which results in overall savings of up to 70% compared to equivalent on-demand instances, depending on the type of instance reserved.
然后它再可以说，你就是可以去reserve 保留这么一个某个服务，然后呢，它甚至可以说是给你打到最高3折。
Pay even less per unit by using more. Customers save even more as they grow bigger. For storage and data transfer, pricing is tiered. The more used, the less the cost per gigabyte. For compute, volume discounts of up to 10% are available when more is reserved.
这边就是延伸上面的说了，就上面不是说你就是保留就是说你锁定了某一块的资源，说你这个月一定会用到多少，那么说你用这个，它就会给你更多的一个折扣。
Pay even less as AWS grows. AWS is constantly focused on reducing hardware costs, improving operational efficiencies, lowering our power consumption, and generally lowering the cost of doing business. These optimizations and our substantial and growing economies of scale result in passing savings back to the customers.
这个就说是随着亚马逊它整个的体量越来越大，然后它的规模越来越大，它可能说它的机器越来越多，它会在这上面给客户更少的价钱，所以这跟很多大企业是这个完全相反的。很多大企业说是企业更大了，然后它有些服务是更贵了，但是亚马逊说它越大，它的服务就越便宜。
Amazon EC2 provides a wide selection of instance types optimized to fit different use cases. Instance types comprise varying combinations of CPU, memory, storage, and networking capacity, and give you the flexibility to choose the appropriate mix of resources for your applications. The general-purpose instance family features T2 instances, are burstable performance instances that provide a baseline of CPU performance, and M3 and M4 instances that provide a balance of compute, memory, and network resources. T2 instances are suitable for websites, web applications, development, testing, and staging environments, while M3 and M4 instances are suitable for small and mid-sized databases, data processing tasks, and cluster computing.
这边说到
The compute instance family features
回到那边回去一点。像大家所熟知的，就是刚刚讲到的那个 EC2 的免费的，那就是 T2 的。T2 的它那个是 T2 Micro，是 T2 里面 Micro 这个等级。那么这边就是说 T2 是比较适合网站网站开发环境以及测试环境，所以说 所以说很多人用 T2 来做网站，这一点是非常适合的，因为它有一个 burstable performance，就是说它在一定情况下是可以爆发它的一个性能了，就好像如果玩组装电脑的可能都知道，就是说那个 CPU 啊，你可以把它那个 turbo 一下，就是激发它的一个潜力啊，这个那个是一样的道理。然后呢，就说到这个M3跟 M4，M3跟 M4就比较类似，都是一个中等规模的一个数据储存、数据处理，还有一个 cluster computing 是一个比较复杂的计算。另外的话，M4比 M3来说的话，它就是有一个更快的一个CPU。
And cluster computing. The compute instance family features C4 and C3 instance types, with the highest performing processors and the lowest price per compute performance, suitable for high-performance science and engineering applications, ad serving, MMO gaming, and video encoding.
这边提到 C4跟 C3的这个 instance 呢，它们主要是一个高性能的一个群组群组就是很多服务器在一起的，然后呢，它也是作为一个web servers 一个网页的一个服务器，同时它可以做很多的高性能的计算比方说这个数据分析还有这个视频的转码，然后同样的 C4比 C3它的 CPU 是更快的。
The memory-optimized instance family features X1, R4, and R3 instance types, which are optimized for large-scale, enterprise-class, in-memory applications, big data, and have the lowest price per gigabyte of RAM among Amazon EC2 instance types.
这边就是X1、R4跟 R3呢，他们是专门为 memory 来做优化的，像 memory 做优化呢，就属于大数据那一块的啦。照我理解的话，像 X1 就是 in-memory apps、enterprise class，SAP、HANA，R3 就是 memory intensive apps、data mining 数据挖掘big data 还有这些，嗯嗯，OK，我们继续看啊。
The accelerated computing instance family offers P2 instances for general-purpose GPU computing, G3 instances for graphics processing applications, and F1 instances for hardware acceleration with field programmable gate arrays. And finally,
这边说呢，P2 就是 general，我觉得 P2 应该是机器学习优化的G3呢就是一些图像上的处理也是有这个视频转码呀，然后3D 建模、3D 渲染这些东西，然后 F1 呢就是一些我觉得它 real time video 直播直播软件可能这些用的会比较多。
And finally, we have the storage-optimized instance family, which includes i3 instances for high I/O storage operations and D2 instances delivering high disk throughput for large disk volumes. Use cases include NoSQL databases such as MongoDB and Hadoop distributed computing.
这个 I3跟 D2就是储存类的了。OK，我们这边再总结一下，总结来说就是T2、M3、M4，它们就是一个比较 general，就是一个比较全能的一个性能比较平均的一个服务器T2呢就比较适合用来做网站，然后 M3、M4呢就是可能是做一种中等规模的一个数据库然后同时也兼任其他的任务的。然后 M3、M4、C3、C4呢，它就是它的 CPU 应该就是最牛逼的，就是它可以做非常高性能的计算， 像一些如果说你比方说有个大型的一个网络游戏，你需要用这么一个服务器，C3、C4应该就是你很好的一个选择。当然了，它因为它的 CPU 它的性能非常高，用它来做视频转码也是不错。然后就是X1、R3、L4，他们就是内存的上他们是有非常大的优势的。我这边说的优势就是说它就是你以相同的价格，想要更多的内存，那X1、R3、R4那肯定是性价比最高的选择。所以这边呢对内存有很大要求的，就比方说一些大数据大数据的处理还有这些 data mining 那些东西跟那些现在人工智能那些都很有关系的。还有这个是 accelerator computing 的。OK，我们稍微倒回来看一下，就是说，OK，这边我们可能要，回来我们继续看回来然后这个 GPU 还有这些呢，F1 instance for hardware acceleration with few programmable 这边是刚刚也说了，就是机器学习然后他们三个就不太一样。以我理解的话，就是三个就是各有所长。P2呢就是人工智能高性能数据库G3就是3D 渲染、视频转码，F1 就是直播这些。OK 然后最后就说到一些数据储存的，就是 i3跟 D2。如果说你有数据储存这方面一个非常高的一个需求，而且用量非常大的话，选择它们一定就没错。
Now let's discuss the different Amazon EC2 pricing types that are available to customers, the benefits of each pricing type, when to position a pricing type to your customers, and the best suited workloads for each type. On-demand instances. The standard AWS pricing model is on-demand pricing. It is the cornerstone of our platform and the method by which we make it possible for the customer to pay only for services used. For EC2 pricing, on-demand instances represent the classic pay-as-you-go pricing model. This pricing model is well suited for testing applications in AWS. When tests are complete, instances can be shut off to save costs. On-demand instances can be used to offset an existing workload. Pricing type to your customers, and the best suited workloads for each type. On-demand instances. The standard AWS pricing model is on-demand pricing. It is the cornerstone of our platform and the method by which we make it possible for the customer to pay only for services used. For EC2 pricing, on-demand instances represent the classic pay-as-you-go pricing model. This pricing model is well suited for testing applications in AWS. When tests are complete, instances can be shut off to save costs. On-demand instances can be used to offset an existing workload.
这边就是说它的一个 on demand 的一个付费方式就是 pay as you go 嘛，就是你按小时来计算EC2 的所有的都是按你用的小时来计算它的花费的。这边说几个它的优点呢，就是说 pay by hour，以小时来计算，然后你可以随时来改变它的它一个计算的一个能力就是比方说你在某个时期你需要它的计算能力提高，你可以随时升级，然后when to position，然后就是什么样的客户会比较需要这样的一个付款方式呢？就是客户他不希望有一个非常长的一个合约，然后他也不希望有一个一开始就要付一笔钱的他们就比较适合这种。然后呢，他就比较适合哪些工作呢？一种比如说短期的，然后或者 fluctuate 就有时高有时低的这种一些工作，就像我们之前上一个模块说过的，就是那个棒球职业联赛，他们在没有赛季的时候，他是根本就用不到这些资源的，所以说他就可以随时去下档随时关闭，这个时候他也不用付钱然后它也会像uninterruptible 是一些 不可以中断的一些服务，还有一些就是你在测试，你在这个写代码，就是在这个发展环境的时候，你用这个也是非常适合，因为毕竟你这个东西你如果说测试跟这个呃 development 的 use 的话，你肯定是最终是要关掉的，然后你可能现在只用一个短的时间，也是非常适合。
Reserved instances. For workloads designed to run more consistently, AWS offers reserved instances, RI. With an RI, your customer purchases a coupon to run an instance type in a specific place for a certain time. This is not tied to a specific instance, but is applied to the first instance that meets the specified requirements. Reserved instances are a good fit for known, steady-state workloads and provide significant cost savings, up to 70%, over on-demand pricing. Reserved instances can be used to lock in steady-state workloads at 1- and 3-year pricing terms for a particular EC2 configuration. EC2 instance type, OS, and configuration in a specific availability zone. 3 different configurations for reserved instances allow customers to manage costs. The larger the upfront payment, the greater the overall discount.
这边就是讲说，虽然说亚马逊它肯定是 pay as you go，用多少花多少是它这个平台的招牌，但是他们也是有一个配套，你就理解为套餐嘛。套餐就是说，如果说同样的一个服务啊，它的套餐价钱是最起码3到5折，相比那个 pay as you go 的话，而且customer 就是你可以选择是1到3年的配套。当然这边就是说，你肯定你选择的年数越多，你最终得到的一个折扣也会越多。然后它这种比较适合的就是一些比较稳定在跑的一些项目，就比方说一些你的当然网站了，就是如果你一个比较稳定的一个企业网站，就是你从来都不希望它去关掉的，那你肯定是会使用这种了。当然里面还有提到一些细节哈。就这个 reserve instances can be used to lock in steady state workload at 1 and 3-year pricing terms for particular EC2 configuration in a specific availability zone. OK， 然后这边也是说了，好，你拿去玩。
不是，我不知道怎么拍照。
没有电了，我给你充电哈。
可是为什么每天我们都没有让这个？
No payment up front. You don't pay up front, but you commit to a 1- or 3-year term with a billing on a monthly basis.
刚刚我就提到的这个它这种reserve 的这种配套是有三种设置，3种 configuration 的。它第一种这个 configuration 就是在这里，我们大家一起来听一下。
Cost is significantly lower than on demand. Partial upfront. You pay some of the costs upfront, and AWS bills you for.
OK， 这边就是说的话，我们的这个 no payment upfront 就是说你一开始。
有没有舔呢？爸爸，你有个头发。
就是说 no payment upfront， 就是说你开始也是同样的，你不用花钱的，但是你还是要跟他做一个1到3年的一个配套，比方说1到3年的一个套餐，然后也是抵还钱也是以每个月来算的。同样的呢，这个价格也是相对于你那个on demand 来说是非常便宜的。
With a billing on a monthly basis. The cost is significantly lower than on demand. Partial upfront. You pay some of the costs up front, and AWS bills you for a lower rate on a monthly basis.
这边就是说，就是你只用付一部分，比方说一整年好比方说一整年是1000美元，然后呢，你可能一开始你只付500美元，然后剩下的你就按月来慢慢付，这有点像一个首付啊，但是这个价格肯定是更便宜的。
The cost is still less than for an on-demand instance. All upfront. Pay once upfront in a lump sum instead of paying monthly. This payment offers a greater discount.
就是说你首先把一年的全还完了，这种肯定是最便宜的。
Let's take a look at convertible reserved instances, CRIs. Convertible reserved instances are reserved instances that allow customers to change their reserved instance family, OS, and tenancy. Now, let's take a look at convertible reserved instances, CRIs. Convertible reserved instances are reserved instances that allow customers to change their reserved instance family, OS, and tenancy at any time. This provides additional flexibility above standard reserved instances and provides a significant discount compared to on-demand instances. It allows customers to receive a significant discount, typically 45%. Now, let's take a look at convertible reserved instances, CRIs. Convertible reserved instances are reserved instances that allow customers to change their reserved instance family, OS, and tenancy at any time. This provides additional flexibility above standard reserved instances and provides a significant discount compared to on-demand instances. It allows customers to receive a significant discount, typically 45%, compared to on-demand instances. Convertible reserved instances allow customers to take advantage of EC2 price reductions that might occur during the reserve time period.
这边我看一下，主要它的一个优势在于，就是它这种就是把之前的两种糅合在一起，就是把 on demand 跟那个 reserve instance 这两种，就是套餐跟那个按时计算这两种糅合在一起，它可以随时的去变。然后你如果说是你是你是套餐的这个状态下的话，你还就是付这个比较低的钱，就是打个减去45%的一个价格。然后如果说你是 pay as you go 的时候，那你还是也还那个 on demand 的钱。然后这种就比较适合那种客户啊，他就是他想比较便宜，但是他对自己未来的这个项目啊，他的一个有不确定性，就是这个项目有可能成，有可能不成，不成就不付了嘛，对不对？然后就是说他有这个稳定需求，但是未来还是不太稳定，这种就比较适合这种顾客。
Convertible reserved instances can be offered to customers that aren't sure about long-term workload requirements. Using convertible reserved instances allows customers to change their instances when their needs change. There are no fees for changing reserved instances, and customers can change them as often as they want. However, when they change their instances, they must acquire new convertible reserved instances that are of equal or greater value than those that they started with. For example, a customer could start out with a C3 instance and convert it to a C4 instance to take advantage of a newer instance type. Or they could convert the C4 to an M4 if their application needs more memory. Conversions also benefit from any price reductions.
哦，你看这边啊，他说他虽然说是可以随时变哈，比方说他这边重新理解一下，就是说比方说我现在是 EC2 的，用的那个是 T2 的 Micro， 就是我现在免费的嘛，然后我就签了这么一个CRI， 然后呢，但是我后来呢，我是有一个需求会变，所以说 需求会变的情况下呢，我就可以给它升级，但是我不能降档，就是这种情况，只能升级不能降档这是它一个唯一的一个要求。
Next, we will look at spot instances and its variations. Spot instances allow customers to bid on spare Amazon EC2 computing capacity to reduce compute costs and improve application throughput. Customers choose spot instances since prices are often available at a significant discount compared to on-demand pricing. And just like on-demand instances, customers can pay by the hour with no upfront commitment. With spot instances, customers can select and bid on pre-configured or custom Amazon machine images, AMIs, configure security and network access, and attach persistent block storage to a spot instance. When a bid meets or exceeds the current spot price, the request is fulfilled and instances will run until either terminated by the user or until the spot price increases above the bid price, whichever is sooner. Spot instances work best for applications that can continue on after interruption and are a great fit for workloads such as batch processing and stateless applications such as web and application servers.
这边就有一个就是可能大家有一些也比较追求极限性价比的一些人但是自身可能又没有那么大的需求的不想做合同的，那这就是一个非常好的一个机会。怎么说呢？就是说我是一个 EC2 服务器的用户，但是呢，我想要更便宜，但是我又不想跟他签什么合同，我也不想买什么套餐，那我就可以说是在它的内部去出价、去竞价、去给这些要么去闲置的一些计算资源竞价，就是按我想要的一个配置来计算。比方说，我想要一个EC2 T2 Micro T2 Micro， 那我就给这个竞价。如果说我的价格达标了，那我就得达不到标那就不得。所以说这种也是有一定风险的。如果说你的服务偶尔暂停个一两下没什么问题，那肯定是。那如果说你需要一个非常稳定服务，然后你的是完全不能停的情况下这种还是不要考虑。
Spot fleet. A spot fleet is a collection of EC2 spot instances. Spot fleets allow customers to automatically bid on and manage multiple spot instances that provide the lowest price per unit of capacity for a cluster or application, such as a batch processing job, a Hadoop workflow, or an HPC grid computing job. Customers can automatically request resources to replace any instances that are disrupted or manually terminated. Spot blocks. For applications that are compute intensive, such as rendering, modeling, and analysis, customers can use spot blocks, which are blocks of time that run continuously, independent of the spot market. Customers can purchase 1 to 6 hour blocks of time for their instances to run. Spot blocks should be offered to customers that have application workloads that are designed to not be interrupted and will run continuously for the duration they select.
这边就是说两种的一个竞价模式，一个是 Spot Fleet，这个肯定说是就是价格是比较低，然后呢，它就是说它就是比较适合那种你的工作在停了之后就可以立马继续，就暂停一下没关系的那种就是在我理解就是比较典型的一个竞价的一个例子，就是你价格到了得了就得。进不到就没了，然后这个 spot block 呢，就是你对这个程序的稳定性就还是有要求的，但是呢，你可能真的只是那一段时间有这么一个需求，而且那就比方说你需要在线上渲染一个视频，需要解码一个视频，那比方那解码这中间你肯定是不能中断的，对不对？那你就可以说是提前预定，比方说立即6个小时的这么一个计算资源让你用来渲染这个视频，当然你渲染完了之后你就不用了，你就可以把它放掉。
Spot Bid Advisor is a tool to help customers determine the best bid price, which increases the likelihood of obtaining desired spot instances. The Spot Bid Advisor analyzes spot price history to help you determine a bid price that suits your customer's needs. You should weigh an application's tolerance for interruption and your cost-saving goals when selecting a spot instance and bid price. The lower your frequency of being outbid, the longer your spot instances are likely to run without interruption.
这边就是亚马逊内部是有一个出价小助手，这个出价助手他会根据过去的一个出价的历史记录来帮助你来选择你的出价。
A best practice for using spot instances is starting with instance types that have a lower frequency of being outbid and adding more instance types as you improve your application's flexibility and fault tolerance.
这边他是给了一个建议啊，就是说你最开始的话，就是先找一个一种服务，一个 instance 就是一个服务器啊，一种服务器，比方说什么 T3呐、那种用的人比较少了，然后竞价的人比较少了，然后你先去长期的一个占据它，然后再慢慢的往下，因为就是意思是说，你就开始多花点钱去找一个并不是那么多人去竞价的，然后慢慢你摸清楚呢你这个程序的一个需求之后，你可能怎么样的一个需求，你怎么样适应了这个平台，适应了这个机制之后，你再慢慢的往下降，然后你再去选一些激进的人比较多的，就是简单来说就是开始的时候求稳，然后等你摸清楚规则的时候再去玩。
Now we will look at dedicated instances and dedicated hosts and discuss when to choose these options. Dedicated instances. Dedicated instances are Amazon EC2 instances that run in a virtual private cloud on hardware that's dedicated to a single customer. Dedicated instances are physically isolated at the host hardware level from instances that belong to other AWS accounts. Dedicated instances may share hardware with instances from the same AWS account that are not dedicated instances. Dedicated instances can be paid for on demand or can be purchased as reserve instances to save up to 70%, or by purchasing as spot instances can save up to 90%. There are two components for pricing with dedicated instances. Customers must pay an hourly instance fee. Customers must pay a dedicated per region fee. They must pay this once per hour, regardless of how many dedicated instances they have running. Now we will look at dedicated instances and dedicated hosts and discuss when to choose these options. Dedicated instances. Dedicated instances are Amazon EC2 instances that run in a virtual private cloud on hardware that's dedicated to a single customer. Dedicated instances are physically isolated at the host hardware level from instances that belong to other AWS accounts. Dedicated
physically isolated at the host level.
Instances may share hardware with instances from the same AWS account that are not dedicated instances. Dedicated instances can be paid for on demand or can be purchased as reserve instances to save up to 70%, or by purchasing as spot instances can save up to 90%. There are two components for pricing with dedicated instances. Customers must pay an hourly instance fee. Customers must pay a dedicated per region fee. They must pay this once per hour, regardless of how many dedicated instances they have running. Customers can also purchase dedicated reserve instances to save up to 75% compared to on-demand instances.
这边就讲一讲这个 dedicated instance。dedicated instance 之前我也有使用过，它主要的就是说，你就相当于你向他租了一个真正的服务器啊，放在亚马逊那边，这个服务器整个这个服务器的这个硬件都只为你工作啊，其他的人是不会有任何其他的人用到这个东西的，就是不管任何情况下。然后同时呢，但是它有一个在我看来是一个加分点啊，就是说 如果说你的你的账号里面有一些其他的不是 dedicated 的一些服务的话，它实际上也是可以用到这里面的资源的。就是在我看来，这就是增加了你一个稳定性跟安全性嘛。然后呢，他这边也提到说，dedicated instance 跟其他的还是不普通的那个像 VPC 啊那些是，普通的不太一样，就是说你必须是每小时来还钱，每小时的去花费，然后呢，你必须每小时都交这么一个区域的区域费啊，不管你有多少台这个服务器。当然了，像那个，如果说你用 reserve instances，那你可以就是最高打到3折嘛。然后如果说你去 bid 啊，你对自己有这个信心的话，你可以最高是可以打到1折的。当然，dedicated instance 它是有一个专门的 dedicated reserve instance，然后最高是2.5折。
Dedicated hosts. A dedicated host is a physical server with EC2 capacity that is dedicated to a single customer and is isolated with configurations that the customer controls. Compared to dedicated instances, dedicated hosts provide additional flexibility, visibility, and control over the placement of instances on dedicated hardware. When you launch instances on a dedicated host, the instances run on a physical server that is dedicated for your use. While dedicated instances also run on dedicated hardware, dedicated hosts provide further visibility and control by allowing you to place your instances on a specific physical server. Dedicated hosts allow you to use your existing per socket, per core, or per VM software licenses, including Microsoft Windows Server, Microsoft SQL Server, SUSE Linux Enterprise Server, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, or other software licenses that are bound to VMs, sockets, or physical cores, subject to your license terms. This enables you to deploy instances using configurations that help address corporate compliance and regulatory requirements. Now we will look at dedicated instances and Let's take a closer look at the differences between dedicated hardware.
这边稍微更正一下啊，刚刚我说的那种情况，其实是 dedicated host 不是 dedicated instance。dedicated host 就相当于你在它这边真的租服务器，它的一个比较好处呢，就是说像那些有些像什么 VMware，还有这个Microsoft 有些license 啊服务这些，它都是要求是跟硬件绑定的。像如果说你用的是那种VPC 的话那就没有办法，它就是不可以做这些东西的。但是如果说你是真的是拥有这整个硬件的全部权限的话，那你用这个就没问题。这边再仔细看一下 ，dedicated instance can reinitiate on any hardware in the Amazon in the region. Hardware is still dedicated to your AWS account. Physical hardware your EC2 instance run may not be same.这边就是讲说，如果你选择的是 dedicated instance 的话，就是首先它肯定保证说你所有的就是都是在这个区域的，所有的这个 instance 都在这个区域的，但是有可能说，这个我们回来还是看一下，Let's take a dedicated instance and dedicated both from hardware and both allow you. However, only dedicated give the owner control. For example.
Let's take a closer look at the differences between dedicated instances and dedicated hosts using the following example. A dedicated instance and dedicated host both run on hardware dedicated to you, and both allow you to isolate data for unique security needs. However, Only dedicated hosts give the owner control of the physical hardware on which the EC2 instance runs. For example, if you reboot a dedicated instance as part of your administrative tasks, once that dedicated instance restarts, it will reinitiate on any available hardware in the availability zone. Once the instance spins up, whatever hardware it lands on will be dedicated to you, but it may not be the same physical hardware from which it originally initiated. With a dedicated host, rebooting the instance results in the instance spinning up on the same dedicated hardware in the availability zone. This allows customers to install software where licensing requires mapping to specific CPU sockets or other unique scenarios.
这边就相当于这边跟大家通俗的解释一下。
Next, we will look at how instance requires mapping.
OK， 这边解释一下，就好比说就这么比喻说比方说你就是大家玩网游嘛，玩网游练级，然后突然死了，比方说你打算重开一个号，就是这个号重置重开，那么这个号如果说你是 dedicated instance 的话你重开了之后可能你重开到的那个人他就不是你上一世的那个人，上一次选择的那个人，他的比方说 DNA 什么的不是一样的，但是他在一个配置上是一样，就是硬件属性上是一样的，但是他就是比方说指纹可能不一样，真的不是同一个人。虽然说身高、体重这些都一样，但是他的这个 DNA 不一样。那如果说你是 dedicated host 的话，那就是说你说你把这个角色自杀了，重新再来过，好一重生，还是这个人，还是这个同样的 DNA， 同样的毛发，所有什么都是一样的，就相当于这个人真的重生了一样上一个就是如果是 dedicated instance， 就是你重生了，是重生了，还是一样的配置，但是你是相当于魂穿到另外一个上面了这么理解看过网游的人可能就能明白。
Next, we will look at how you can demonstrate cost saving on AWS to your customers. Step 1. Gather requirements. Talk with your customers about the requirements for each of their IT applications. Make sure that you understand what the customer expects from AWS. This is the most critical step in the process. In collecting requirements, it is important to prioritize compute, storage, and data transfer because these make up most of the cost. Step 2. Map requirements to AWS services. Once you have an understanding of your customer's needs, you can map customer requirements to the appropriate AWS services. Step 3. Right-size your service choices. Right-sizing starts with choosing the right region. Pricing differs across AWS regions, and some regions don't support all services. The customer might also have regulatory requirements for their data. For EC2 instances, choose the EC2 instance that best matches the requirements. Suggest the most cost-effective and the most performant solution available for the customer. Also, look at the customer's storage requirements. Is the customer running a database, or are they running a very light application that needs a disk drive, but does not need consistently high I/O performance? Consider also the CPU requirements. How many virtual CPUs does the customer think they need? How many CPUs are they using today? What EC2 instance lines up best with their CPU requirements? Step 4. Evaluate pricing models for Amazon EC2 instances based on your customer's needs and select the instance type that best suits your customers. EC2 instance types include reserved, spot, on-demand, convertible RI, and dedicated instances. Step 5. The simple monthly calculator can be used to estimate the cost of a specific workload, like launching a web application. We'll look at an example of a simple monthly calculator estimate later in this module. Step 6. Deliver the estimate to the customer. It is important for the customer to know that this is just an estimate. Just like any project, requirements, available resources, and implementation dates can change.
这边就是亚马逊就向我们提供了一个，他告诉我们一个流程。首先呢，你得从客户那边收集他的需求，他的一个真实需求，然后到底他是把哪些放在前面呢？比方说他最看重的是这个计算力，还是说他比较看重储存，或者是数据传输这些，然后再看就是确定了这个需求之后呢，再根据他的需求去选具体呢他要的是一个什么样的一个服务。然后第三点呢，就是你要给他选一个地区，首先是选地区，因为每个地区的价格都不一样。然后当然了，客户有可能他有一些法律上还有其他 regulation 他需要 follow 的一些东西，可能他真的要避讳某个国家，比方说，那你肯定不能选这个国家给他，再便宜也不能选嘛。再一个就是说，他需要也就是回到第一个，你已经知道他的需求了吗？就好比说，他对计算力要求真的非常非常高，那这个时候你就给他按照我们之前学过的你给他选一个计算力非常高的应该是 C2 C3 给他选个 C3 计算力杠杠没问题的。然后你给他选了 type 之后呢，然后你就是这个 instance type 之后你也要给他选他的一个呃一个就是这些配置它需要的这些挂载它是只需要说是一个disk 就可以了，还是它需要一个高并发的一个储存这些。然后第四步呢，就是说你怎么给他算钱？就是当然你也是看到根据他的需求来说，如果他的需求真的每天24小时无动课都必须要跑的，那这个时候你肯定给他选一个 reserve 的，对不对？那如果说他就是求便宜，然后他的服务可能中断也没什么必要就比方说他是一个网站专门做那个视频，在线上帮人做视频渲染的，那他也可以用 Spot 嘛，对不对？他只要allocate 一个他需要的一个时段，然后再就是一个如果说他是那种他需要一个 dedicated，他必须要自己的完全自己独占的一个硬件的话，也是可以用这种。然后第五步呢，你就是亚马逊它后台是有个小计算器的，就根据这个来跟他粗略的估计他每个月可能每个时期他需要花到的钱，最后你也需要告诉他，这真的只是一个估计啊。所以说，那我们可以走到下一个。
Now let's take a look at a tool that you can use to estimate pricing information for your customers, the Simple Monthly Calculator. The AWS Simple Monthly Calculator helps customers effectively estimate the costs of running their specific project on AWS. Customers can use the calculator to estimate monthly charges based on architecture, usage of each service, and cost breakdown for each service. Costs can be estimated for a single instance, individual services, and individual or multiple prices. Most of our customers use multiple AWS services in multiple regions. Therefore, the calculator has a mechanism to select a service in a particular region and add it to the bill. With the AWS Simple Monthly Calculator, customers can appraise complete solutions using built-in templates. The Simple Monthly Calculator allows you as an APN partner to be transparent with your customers. It allows you to guide them through a model of their estimated expenses so you can discuss and compare various outcomes. Developing a pricing estimate can be confusing to new customers, so as a partner, you can leverage your experience on AWS to help them through that process.
就是说，客户他自己是可以用到这个计算器的，然后呢，你作为 APN，你肯定是你的看家本领，计算器得用得好，然后你的客户自己不会算，你帮他算嘛，这肯定也是你服务的提供服务其中一个项目。
Now, let's take a look at a Simple Monthly Calculator demonstration. Click the button to watch the video demonstration.
This video will show you how to get started with the Amazon Web Services Simple Monthly Calculator. We'll explain what the calculator is and how it works, and walk you through its features to show you how to get easy-to-understand, accurate estimates of your monthly AWS usage costs. The Simple Monthly Calculator is an easy-to-use tool that helps you estimate the cost of AWS services for your use case based on your expected usage. The calculator also lets you save and conveniently share these estimates with a unique URL. While the number and types of services offered by AWS have increased dramatically, our philosophy on pricing has not changed. You pay only for the resources that you use. AWS lets you replace upfront CapEx with low variable OpEx, so you pay only for what you use. All services run on a pay-as-you-go utility model with no minimum commitments or long-term contracts required. You pay less when you reserve capacity, and tiered pricing and volume discounts mean that you pay less per unit the more units you use. As AWS continually grows, gains economies of scale, and improves operational efficiencies, it passes the savings back to you in the form of lower pricing. When you use the calculator, you'll get the latest and greatest pricing for all AWS services in all regions. So let's take a look at the AWS Simple Monthly Calculator to see how it works. You can find it at aws.amazon.com/calculator if you want to click along. The calculator consists of two tabs, Services and Estimate of your monthly bill. The Services tab allows you to pick an AWS region, services in that region, and service-specific input forms so you can get the most accurate possible estimate. When you pick a region, the list of services automatically changes to those available in that region. The Estimate of your monthly bill tab provides a real-time detailed view of your monthly costs as you enter values for AWS services in the Services tab. You can click the line item to go back to the Services tab and to that specific service form. The estimate shows the total one-time costs and recurring monthly costs. On the right of the tab are several customer samples that you can load to get started with a specific use case. You can pick the language preference on the top right if English is not your preferred language. Once you've identified the services you want to use in AWS, you can start entering the values for them in the calculator. Remember to choose the appropriate AWS region first. For example, you can select the AWS GovCloud US region to get specific prices for that region. If you're using Amazon EC2, you need to add new row and provide the number of instances, planned usage per month, instance type, and operating system. And you need to select a billing option such as on-demand or reserved. You can also specify values for elastic block storage volumes, elastic IP, data transfer, and elastic load balancing. You can select other AWS services listed on the left and enter parameters for them as well. Once you've entered the service and usage parameters required for your application, you can review the costs automatically generated on the Estimate of your monthly bill tab. This tab gives you a high-level cost breakdown of each of the services you've entered values for in the Services tab. Each service row also breaks out the granular costs of that service so you can understand individual pricing of features. Finally, the tab sums up total monthly costs and shows any one-time costs. This estimate provides the same kinds of information you'll see on your actual AWS bill. Remember, though, that this is only an estimate of usage charges for AWS services based on the information you provide. Billed monthly charges will reflect your actual usage of AWS services. The Simple Monthly Calculator is a static website, so you can open multiple tabs for different configurations or estimates. Another useful feature of the calculator lets you save your estimate and share it with others. When you click the Save and Share button, a dialog box opens where you can provide a name and description of the estimate and a list of the resources used in it. Then the calculator saves your estimate on a web page and generates a unique URL that you can share online with project stakeholders. To achieve the highest performance and most cost-effective cloud solutions, we encourage you to consult our white paper, How AWS Pricing Works. In this video, we've given you an overview of the AWS Simple Monthly Calculator, an easy-to-use, flexible way of acquiring and sharing accurate estimates of your monthly Amazon Web Services costs.
敲这么多。
哎，别我这录音。
We've now seen how the simple monthly calculator can assist you in pricing project costs for your
这边之前的2个块就是讲这个计算器它是怎么用的。我觉得这个计算器它最好的一个功能就是第一个是它本质上是一个静态页面，所以你可以开很多个，然后你可以开很多个计算各种不同的套餐配套以及配置，然后进行比较。然后再一个好处就是你可以把它保存，保存之后它会自动生成一个页面，然后你可以把这个 URL 直接分享给你的客户，这样就确实非常方便。一个是你的计算确实都是亚马逊计算出来的，再一个呢就是所以他会相信你的一个公正性，所以没什么好透明性。
爸爸，但是你去按下妈妈的号码，它的不对。对，所以你教他了，他又不记得了。
哦，妈妈好像知道，你问一下妈妈吧。
妈妈，你知道我了吗？
customers. Now let's take a look at the 4 areas of cost optimization, which operate in a virtuous cycle. Match supply and demand. To optimize costs, work with your customer to match supply and demand as closely as possible. AWS provides mechanisms to programmatically scale up and down as needed, or implement lifecycle rules that archive or expire storage objects automatically. Benchmarking can help to test out various instances for your workloads. Cost-effective resources. After you complete your benchmarking and choose an instance that offers solid performance and pricing, consider using reserved instances for steady-state workloads. A 1-year or 3-year commitment significantly lowers overall running costs for the instances you choose. A tool like Trusted Advisor can help you quickly identify the potential monthly savings from the purchase of a reserved instance. Expenditure awareness. It's important to be aware of what services customers are using and their costs. You can use AWS Config, Amazon CloudWatch, AWS OpsWorks, Auto Scaling, and AWS CloudFormation to help ensure that customer resources are being used efficiently. Cost optimization is achieved through a continuous cycle of assessment, benchmarking, and integration with operations. Optimize over time. The last area of optimization is optimizing over time. An initial assessment is never 100% accurate, but the inherent flexibility of AWS services means that you are not locked into initial design choices. Continuous reassessment and monitoring of your AWS resources is vital to respond to requirements as they change over time.
那么讲的是一个优化花费，就是怎样为客户省钱的4个步骤。第一个步骤就是说，首先你要确定说，你给客户配置的这个资源，它肯定是够用的。首先要确保这个东西它肯定够用。然后呢，第二个呢，就是说你在客户的这个项目这个东西稳定之后呢，你就可以考虑给他用那个给他弄套餐了，就是弄个1年、2年、3年都可以。这样的话，就是这个能省非常多的钱，一下就可以至少打对折。再一个呢，就是生成报告它这边生成报告就是通过报告数据AWS Config、AWS Amazon CloudWatch、Amazon OpsWorks、Auto Scaling、AWS CloudFormation 这些都能说，就是都是亚马逊这边这个工具出的亚马逊的这边的数据，你就可以用这些来告诉你客户说，哎呀，哪一块可以再省一省哪一块可以加一加呀，这样总体的这个花费可能可以减少。然后再一个呢，就是说optimize over time， 就是毕竟这个东西还是要去时间去不断的去尝试，然后你就慢慢知道这个项目可能，哎呀，可能你以为他以前每天能有个1个月能有100万的一个访问量，实际上它只有50万，对不对？那 那你可能就需要把它降一降嘛，对吧？这个相关的配的资源就可能砍半儿，就是这种样子。
Now let's review licensing basics. AWS offers flexible licensing for your customers, which includes many different models. License included. Customers can buy license-included instances from AWS with a pay-as-you-go pricing model. AWS provides the image and manages the licensing and compliance for the customer's chosen instance type.
这种 license include 就是很多东西啊，它需要它的那个你用它一些东西，它不是是付费的。当然，这些有些 AWS 是直接给它做的默认了，这都 built in 了，所以说你就只管给 AWS 付钱就得了。
AWS License Mobility allows existing on-premises licenses for Microsoft software through software assurance to be moved to shared tenant instances on AWS. To do this, customers are required to leverage the software assurance section of Volume License Agreement, maintain active software assurance, complete license verification process within 10 days of deployment.
Existing on-premise license for all true software to be moved to shared tenant instance. On-demand spot reserve. 就是说这边你是可以买这个东西，但是license include 这个就很简单，就是你全交给亚马逊你就可以了。license mobility 就是说你可以带你自己的，就是这个 license 是属于你自己的，它是跟着你的，然后你要把它从亚马逊的这个服务再移到另外一个服务器上面。比方说，那你就要像Microsoft 那边去专门去申请。说实话，这是有点麻烦哈。
Bring your own license. AWS allows customers to bring their own license, BYOL, over to AWS if it meets certain criteria. This option allows customers to extend the value of existing on-premises licenses to an AWS environment.
这个就简单，这个就是说，如果说你比方说你在自己的服务器上，不是 AWS 的上，你有一些一些证书 license，然后你想在 AWS 上用，但是就是你需要把这些，你需要首先 AWS 它是有自己一套认证的，你要过了它这个认证，然后你才可以继续在亚马逊的服务器上用。
Purchase new licenses via AWS Marketplace. Customers can also purchase new licenses, either for existing or new applications, through the AWS Marketplace. An advantage to obtaining a new license through the AWS Marketplace is that licenses can be purchased by the hour, saving significant sums of money over paying for a year-long license when a shorter duration is all that may be required.
这边有提到一个非常重要一点，就是 AWS Marketplace 它实际上也是卖 license 的，而且它卖的 license 不像一般的 license，一般都是1年起步或者是按1个月起步，它是按小时卖的。可能你就可能用那个几天，这里买真的是性价比比较高哈。
Develop your own. Customers can also develop their own in-house applications developed for a particular purpose, or port applications into AWS, given compatibility. Now let's review. Your customers can buy license-included instances from AWS. Now let's review licensing basics. AWS offers flexible licensing for your customers, which includes many different models. License included. Customers can buy license-included instances from AWS with a pay-as-you-go pricing model. AWS provides the image and manages the licensing and compliance for the customer's chosen instance type. AWS License Mobility allows existing on-premises licenses for Microsoft software through software assurance to be moved to shared tenant instances on AWS. To do this, your customers can buy license-included instances from AWS. For license-included EC2 or RDS instances, AWS manages licensing compliance and supports current versions and many legacy versions of Microsoft and other software. Customers can pay for the license-included instances as they go, with no upfront costs or long-term investments. These license-included instances can be used with on-demand, spot, or reserved instances, and multi-tenant or dedicated instances. BYOL, or Bring Your Own Licenses, is the process of importing and using a customer's existing volume licenses on AWS dedicated hosts or dedicated instances. BYOL refers most specifically to partners bringing to AWS Microsoft licenses without software assurance, or licenses that do not qualify for license mobility. These environments require physically dedicated servers. By bringing their own licenses to AWS, the customer can take advantage of the efficiencies of the AWS cloud while utilizing their existing investments in on-premises software. They can extend the lifecycle of their existing software versions without additional hardware costs, and can expedite migration to AWS by using existing Windows images. Let's look at the importance of discussing total cost of ownership with your customers. Lowering total cost of ownership, TCO, is an important topic to discuss with your customers. There are 4 ways that AWS helps customers lower total cost of ownership. Increased utilization, by sizing servers based on actual compute needs instead of peak forecasts. Your customers pay only for what they need, rather than paying for more compute than is needed. This increases overall utilization rates. Economies of scale. Customers can lower TCO by benefiting when AWS lowers prices on services as AWS grows. Pricing model choice. When customers can choose instance types that best suit their workload requirements, they can lower costs. And finally, customers save money as they grow bigger by taking advantage of AWS tiered pricing and volume discounts.
这边就是说亚马逊的这个价格，它是价格体系上的优势啊。第一个就是说 increase by sizing servers based on actual compute needs instead of peak forecast。就是说就是 pay as you go 了，简单来说就是用多少花多少，这是最基本的。然后 economics of scale 就是说 AWS 它会经常的一个降价，所以说它过去已经有过62次降价了，所以说它 AWS 它越大它越降价，然后你就能受益。再一个就是它的 pricing model 呢，就是它有很多种的付款方式 ，on demand 啊 ，reserve 啊 ，dedicated， 然后还有一个 spot 那种竞价，都是你可以选择一个非常适合你自己的，越适合你自己当然是越省钱。然后这个 save as you grow 就是说你用的越多，省的越多。
When discussing TCO with your customers, you may find that your customers may regularly calculate costs for servers, storage, networking, and IT labor, but may not include costs for facilities, including power and cooling, in overall TCO calculations. Power, cooling, and facilities are often accounted for as high-level allocations by corporate facilities. In many cases, complete asset inventories and hardware use are unknown, and mapping of applications to specific physical or virtual hardware, and tracking visibility into hardware use and performance, servers, racks, power, is limited. Chargeback and allocation to business units are often not understood or actionable, which makes it hard to tie specific workloads to associated costs. You may need to point out this additional cost to your customers as you work with them to calculate TCO.
这边简单来说，就是说，当客户可能就指着他用那个 simple calculator 跟你说，哎，多少多少钱，跟他现在的那个比较的时候，你千万可要跟他说，如果他用的是那个实际的那个physical 的东西的话，就是他自己掌握那个服务器，他有硬件的话，你会说，哎呀，你每天这个硬件，那你这个电费要不要的？你储存这个你这个维护费用要不要的？你是不是要请人来维护？这个人工要不要的？这些是不是？这都是要 take into consideration 的。你不是光靠说光拿那个价格去比的，这都是非常重要的，一定要跟他 mention 一下。
When reviewing TCO with your customers, it can be helpful to look at the cloud economics principles at play in a migration or cloud adoption scenario. As you speak with your customers, it can be important to help them understand that a complete business case will encompass not just current TCO, but a calculation of the migration cost, future state TCO post-migration, ongoing cost optimization, the payback period, the internal rate of return, IRR, the net present value, NPV, and the intangible benefits of migrating to the cloud. The migration investment period is where you'll see benefit as an APN partner, and the customer will experience financial benefit during the payback period.
这边就是讲的是一个，这个有点复杂，就是说就是它上云之前，它上云它肯定是有一个花费的嘛，就是不单只是它的云上的花费，而是说它为了上云做的这些努力所得的花费，然后再是一个这个不是说你亚马逊这个价格体系，然后当然你也考虑到它上云之后呢，它上云之后它得到的这些好处。OK，我们这边看一下这边看一下，各位可以看到我的鼠标哈。顺便看，如果说这边是花费，这里是时间如果说现在我们看什么都不做的情况下，就是什么都不做那它花费也不会多，也不会少，这样子对不对？那如果说他用了 AWS， 那开始的时候它也肯定有个 migration cost， 对吧？它要迁徙到云上，它可以有额外的花费。好，这个花费过了，等它过了这个上云的这个阶段之后呢，它慢慢开始，你看它的这个价格，你看到这来，它价格它的花费就降了，降了越来越多，直到这里，到这里的时候，你看我从这一直走到这，可能跟这个就已经跟这个持平了，就跟这条直线就是大家看这底下的一个 area 这个面积就是这个方形的面积，跟这个这个块的面积，再加上这个下面这块面积，就已经持平，到这里已经持平了。然后这里持平之后呢，它继续往下降，到这里的时候就是 payback period， 就是往后都是赚的了，就这么理解就可以了。这个图其实也挺好理解的。
And finally, let's look at the AWS TCO calculator, which allows you to work with customers to estimate the cost savings when using AWS. The calculator allows you to input customer data to compare the cost of running applications in an on-premises environment to the cost of running the same applications in an AWS environment. It's important to work with your customer to develop this cost comparison. The AWS Backup and Archive TCO calculator compares the cost of running backup and archive applications in an on-premises environment to running on AWS. Both calculators produce a detailed cost comparison and a detailed set of reports that can be used for executive presentations. Let's take a look. Let's look at a demonstration of the AWS TCO calculator.
The point of the calculator, again, is to allow you to choose a series of different, very basic scenarios that you can truly map against what you're using. So you can pick a workload and select on very simple terms such as the number of virtual machines, the CPUs and cores that you're going to be needing, the memory that you will require, the type of a hypervisor, the amount of storage that you might need, and give you the ability to run a relatively straightforward simulation. So for example, if we wanted to run a simulation called Test 1 that required 3 virtual machines, 6 CPUs, 16 gig of memory, and we needed 3 terabytes of storage. With these very simple fields with just a very small number of inputs, we can derive a relatively accurate and very well-defined report that gives you a very close estimation of what you could save by moving to AWS. So if you look at the inputs that we added, you could save as much as 95% a year by moving your infrastructure to AWS. And the 3-year savings would be as high as $153,000. Then the calculator also gives you the ability to really deconstruct into specifically how the cost savings were realized. So it's not just a report with a number that you have to believe face value, but rather there are a number of different fields, calculations, assumptions, descriptions of how the costs were actually saved. So you can take a look at the breakdown for the infrastructure investments on premises and compare them to what you would be investing and buying through AWS, both for compute and storage. And you can get even further details on the calculations. So there's a great amount of detail that allows you to build a really strong business case around how the savings were realized. And when you have all this information, you can download the report, export it as a PDF, and socialize it and share it accordingly. A couple of new features that we have included in the calculator are, so first and foremost, let me take a step back and show you how we have now expanded some functionality. So you have a basic and an advanced view. So the advanced view gives you some more inputs if you have more information or more specific requirements. So you can choose IOPS, you can choose utilization, you can select by what you want to optimize your simulation specifically. You can also choose a currency that might be more relevant to your market in case you're going to be either paying or doing some additional simulations offshore. So if you're running a data center in, let's say, Germany, you might choose euro instead of dollars, and that would also allow you to modify the assumptions in your specific currency. So the essence of this calculator is it's a great stepping stone to help you do some preliminary modeling, allow you to understand the fundamental components of how to calculate cost of ownership, get detailed analysis on reports, and really go from there to either developing your own business case or working more closely with our organization to understand how you can maximize and optimize the benefits of using AWS.
这边就是说，它这么 TCO 就是说，你要用到 AWS， 你大概要花多少钱？然后它主要的功能是跟那个它之前自己管应点 Premier 的那种对比，它会根据地区来算出来就是您能省多少钱，非常直观的一个东西就是说你直接啪一下把这东西生成 PDF 甩客户脸上，嚯，1年之内我可以省90%的钱，你说他买不买对吧？省90%的钱谁不愿意？
We've reached the end of Module 4. In this module, we discussed the AWS pricing philosophy and how to present cost savings on AWS to your customers. We looked at the various compute instance types on AWS and discussed how the type of workload and customer preferences impacts pricing. And finally, we discussed estimating pricing for either small workloads or enterprise solutions using the simple monthly calculator and total cost of ownership calculator. Before you continue, please complete the knowledge check.
又到了测试了哈。Which pricing strategy is most suited for long run low running steady state workload， 这还用问？当然是 reserve 啦。好，下一个。Which of the following is not a benefit of licensing on AWS? Licensing by the hour instead of year， 这肯定是个好处嘛，对吧？你可以用这个顺便说一下，这个是你可以在 AWS 要么是我的暂时不用licensing 你是可以从那个 AWS Marketplace 上买，另外一个如果是你用它的 built-in 的话，实际上也是按小时来收费的。Amazon Manage Licensing and Compliance 就是我刚刚说的亚马逊帮你搞定了。然后这个 license mobility 就是你可以移动这个 license 嘛，从你其中的一个 dedicated 一个 server 移到另外一个所以这3个都是好处，那剩下这一定是坏处了。Volume pricing 这好像不是不是说你买的 license 越多它越便宜，这个定价也不是亚马逊自己定的嘛，对吧？ OK， 好，今天就到这里，